Guys, thanks for having me. As Tara said, I'm Nick Rentz. I'm originally from Coldwater. I live in Minster now. As you're going to find out here, Catholicism is fairly new for me, even though I grew up in it. But my wife and my two kids, like I said, we live in Minster. I work outside of Coldwater yet. I live a pretty mundane existence, if I'm being really honest with you. There's not a lot exciting that I can sit here and tell you about my life in any sort of introductory way that's going to be anything memorable. But what I do want to share with you today, though, is how I went from essentially a cradle Catholic to a fallen Catholic to a hardened atheist, okay, and back to the Catholic Church, all right? And then what does that mean for you after all? You know what I mean? I think we hear these conversion stories, but what do they mean? So I think we got to kind of put this into motion as well, okay? So, again, growing up in Coldwater, fairly normal existence, right? I don't think I probably grew up any different than most of any of you, okay? Catholic family, all right? Had the buddies in the neighborhood, you know what I mean? You know, played football and all that kind of stuff, baseball, those kind of things. It was a very, I would call a normal childhood around here. Grandparents, super Catholic, you know what I mean? Never missed church, you know what I mean? Grandma, I think, had the Blessed Virgin virtually on every corner of every shelf in the home. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't want to get into superstition, but I mean, she had everything but like the Virgin Mary bobblehead on the dashboard. Man. I mean, it was for real. It was all over. You know, relics. She had relics all over the house, which always fascinated me because, you know, I was like, what is that? It's like, wow, it's a piece of a saint. Well, what do you mean? It's like his body. Well, that's a little gross. You know what I mean? Like when I was a little kid, I was like, what is that? Now it's like, man, where did those go? But nevertheless, so I mean, I would call it pretty normal, a pretty normal upbringing. But I don't know. There's some of you here that know me and know that I'm not a very normal thinker. Okay, like I question a lot. Okay, I question a lot, and I mean a lot, to the point where it can sometimes be unhealthy. I go down wormholes that just can take me places. Well, that happened about 7th, 8th grade when I was at Coldwater, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to church, but I'm not really holy. I don't know if this is actually real. Is this even really, like, what is this? Okay? Like, I'm just going through the motions here. And that kind of plagued me, okay, if I'm being honest. And I would ask my religion teachers this, okay? Now, God bless these folks, okay, because they're giving up their time. They're coming out to do it, all right? They had zero answers, okay? And I mean zero, right? Not just sort of. Like, the constant answer that I got all the time from my religion teachers growing up was, you have to have faith. That's not an answer. That's a terrible answer. I'm telling you I don't have faith. Like, I'm telling you I don't believe what you are selling me. Like, you are telling me that there's this all-knowing, all-loving wizard in the sky who created everything, okay? Yet there's war, cancer, strife, starvation, okay? Oh, and he needs money on Sunday. Great God. You know what I mean? It's like, dude doesn't need money. I mean, he's God, right? Like, this none of this stuff made any sense to me. And to be honest with you, it made me kind of bitter, okay? Because I was like, yeah, this is just a glorified Santa. Like, I think all you people are just dumb, okay? And so what happened is high school, this keeps going. I get confirmed somehow. I don't, like, memories are a little sketchy, but, like, I don't recall going through the confirmation training. You know what I mean? I do remember going through, at some point in time, Coldwater thought it was a great idea to put religion, okay, in the homes. Sorry, I got these little gnats around. I've been on the boat all day. Maybe that's why. But they had this bright idea to put the religion in the home. And so we went into this, again, God love her. we went into her home, and well, full disclosure, I guess I can tell you this. So what we would do is we would hide beers in the dirt hills, like in the new section of town, and then we would pedal out there, and then we'd drink these beers, and then we would go to religion class and just torture this poor woman. Like, this is, like, it was terrible, terrible stuff, okay? I mean, you laugh, it's really not funny. But, like, that's where I was at. I just, you know, I say that just to let you know, like, that this is where I was, okay? We ended up making her quit, all right, which was terrible. Come to find out years later, she's like my relation. And I've always wanted to reach out to her and just be like, yeah, guess what? I've taught religion for 15 years now. You know what I mean? It's like, someday I'm going to do that. But nevertheless, but that's how this whole thing went for me. I didn't believe it. I was making fun of it. I was just openly, just, you know, my parents just really had no answers. And quite honestly, they would get frustrated when they talked to me about it. And then I go to college, okay? Which, quite honestly, was probably the worst thing spiritually that ever could have happened, okay? Like, it was, look, I was after the party in high school already, okay? In college, like, that just went from, like, here to here, okay? Like it was just party all the time. Like, I was taking classes so I could go out and party. Like that's what it was, okay? I just got addicted to the lifestyle of that party, okay? I mean, church was so far off the radar. Like I said, I'd really fallen out of believing in God in general. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you're talking, I mean, I was praying to, like, Saint Fireball. You know what I mean? Saint Bush Latte. That was the only guys that I was around. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was my life. Like, through and through. Okay? And that was just the tame stuff. All right? And that piece of it you guys have probably heard before. You've heard conversion stories before. People fall away, they do this. What makes my conversion story a little bit different is when I go to college, I start taking philosophy classes. Okay? These philosophy classes are taught mostly by a lot of hardened atheists. All right? Like, and they are big on getting you to go that direction. Right? And so that was perfect. That was just red meat for somebody like me. Okay? Like I was reading just all the time, through and through. Hitchens, Dawkins, Flew, Bertrand Russell's book, Why I'm Not a Christian, was like my Bible. Like, that was the book that, I mean, Tara said she annotated a book by John Paul II. Like, I had that thing not only annotated, memorized. Okay? Because it wasn't good enough for me to be a non-Christian. Okay? You needed to be a non-Christian too. I needed to tell you that your religion was garbage, and I could do it from a very philosophical level. I was going to win the argument. Okay? I was a pretty good atheist. I had my facts together. All right? And unfortunately, I honestly believe I probably swayed some people out of the faith. I really believe that. Okay? Not proud of it. Not proud of it at all. But that's what happened. Okay? That went on for years. Like, that went on for years. As a matter of fact, I started getting chummy with some of my professors. And one of them, Dr. Callahan, it came time for the term paper, you know what I mean? He's like, I think you're ready to do Anton LaVey. And I was like, I don't know who that is. He's like, great humanist philosopher, you'll love him. He's like, here's the book. And he hands it over to me. Anton LaVey is the author of the Satanic Bible. And that's the book he gave me. Okay? And I think I've thrown it away. I may still have it. So I read it. And I did my paper on it. But to be honest with you, it was kind of trashy philosophy. Like, I thought the whole Satanic Bible thing was there for shock value. He was just kind of a B-grade humanist, if I'm being real honest. But nevertheless, it fed right into what I was doing. okay? If you guys don't know what Satanism actually is, okay, like Church of Satan, Anton LaVey, right? That is, do what you will is the whole of the law. That is to say, whatever you think is right, whatever makes you feel good, that is what you are to do. That is Satanism. Okay? I don't know, there's an old Frank Sinatra song, I Did It My Way. You know what I mean? They always say that's the song that's playing in hell over and over again. Okay? That's what Satanism really, really is. It's doing it your way, whenever you want, whatever makes you feel good, that's what's good for you. Okay? That is the law, according to the humanist, LaVey. Okay? So, that's, quite honestly, that's all the affirmation I needed. You know what I mean? I'm off to the races now. Okay? So, needless to say, my college career was less than stellar. All right? I went to OU for a little bit, dropped out of there, came back to Dayton, went to school off and on. It was less than stellar. Okay? College was the afterthought. What I was there for is to take philosophy classes and religion classes, okay, to disprove Christianity. That's what I really got into. Logic, philosophy, that kind of stuff. So, in one of these philosophy classes, I get introduced to a guy named St. Thomas Aquinas. Okay? St. Thomas Aquinas is not, have you guys ever heard of St. Thomas? Okay. Thomas Aquinas is not the guy I want to hear about. Okay? Thomas Aquinas is probably the greatest philosopher that ever lived in the modern era, okay, like post-Socrates. Okay, so like, here we have a guy who starts to give you rational arguments for why there actually is belief in God, why there is a God. Okay? And I'm reading this and I'm going, trash. And my professor, who was an ex-UD professor, looked at me and he was like, why? And I couldn't do it. I couldn't beat Aquinas. And I'll be honest, that pissed me off. Like, that just fired me up. It's like, how? There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to beat this guy. There's really not. Okay? Thomas Aquinas had it. He had it. So, at the end of the day, Aquinas, I'll just sum it up for you very quickly. You can't create something from nothing. At the beginning of the universe, it had to come from somewhere. Well, you can say, okay, Big Bang. All right, what made the rock? Okay, atoms and gases. Who made the atoms and gases? Well, they split off of each other. Okay, well, who made the first one? You know what I mean? Eventually, you keep rewinding, and you get to black. You get to nothing. There has to be a God, is what Aquinas said. It's called the unchained chain, or the unmoved mover, is what Aquinas called it. You can't poke a hole in the theory. Look up Google the God particle. Okay, scientists are looking for this original thing still today. Because it doesn't exist, because that is God. Okay, that is God. So, to me, at the time, unfortunately, I'm now sort of agnostic. I've now come to the conclusion that there probably is a God. Okay, I go a little bit while longer. My 22-year-old cousin gets cancer. Okay? It's an odd shift in the story, but bear with me. He's not a 22-year-old cousin that is the guy that I see once or twice a year. He's the guy, I don't know, you guys probably have cousins like this. I was closer to my cousins than I was my buddies. Like, my cousins were the people I went out with on the weekends and stuff like that. Anytime I went home, this is the guy I hung out with. Okay? Like, this is my guy. Okay? He gets, like, terrible skin cancer right out of the gates. Like, right out of the gates. And it's not good. It's not good. You know what they always tell you? Pray. Pray, 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 pray. Who do you pray to when you don't believe in Jesus Christ? Who do you pray to when you're just kind of iffy on God? So I just kind of said, okay, whatever. He beats cancer for a while. Didn't need those prayers after all. Guess what? Comes back. Okay? Cancer ends up taking my cousin Joe. All right? I was there when he went. I watched it go. I watched it happen. And long story, but there's spiritual things that happen in that moment. Okay? you can feel things that just aren't there, that I can't find out of a book. Okay? I read for years about how supernatural is just nothing but just hokey stuff. It's all garbage. But then when you feel it, when you see it, when you experience it, that's not true. That's not true. So I'm starting to get these inklings. I'm starting to get these inklings from God. I get to meet my wife. Okay, she wasn't a real God-fearing woman when I met her either. She liked to have a good time as well. Raised Catholic, very, very similar to how we all are, okay? How we were all raised anyway. But needless to say, being together with her took us to baptisms, weddings, funerals, that kind of thing. It kind of brought me back into the church a little bit, here and there, just speckling it in here and there. So I take a job where I'm on the road, and I go see customers, okay? And this guy, great guy, can't ask for a better guy. Name's Wes Siglin. Love Wes. Wes is really, really instrumental in bringing me back to the church. And Wes is a Baptist. Okay? Wes is a Baptist. Wes is a guy who, to say Wes is on fire for Jesus Christ is the understatement of the year. Anybody know any Baptists? Know some Baptists? These are the guys that go to Vegas with a copy of the Ten Commandments in one pocket, $20 bill in the other. They come home, neither one of them's broken. Like, that's the Baptist, okay? Like, terrible. Needless to say, but needless to say, they're super, super holy people. They're super religious people. They really are. And Wes was a deacon, okay? And Wes looked at me like he looked at a lot of other Catholics, fallen away Catholics, whatever you want to call it. And he was like fish in a barrel. He's like, that's a guy that I can get. Okay? So we go out to lunch and all this kind of stuff. And he slowly starts talking to me about Christianity. Okay? And I I know it all. So, yeah, you're an idiot, dude. But I can't say that to this guy because he's a customer. Okay? So I have to sit there and listen to him. Okay, when in college, I could just flip this guy off and be like, you're an idiot, and here's why. Okay? I can't do that anymore. All right? Now I've got to listen to this guy because he's giving me money. So I'm stuck. And now I have to listen to a stinking Baptist. Well, the Baptist started to make a lot of sense. Okay? The Baptist started to make a lot of sense. He's like, do you ever read the Bible? I was like, what a waste of time. Like, if I wanted to read fairy tales, I'd pick something up. I didn't come right out and say that to him. But. So he sends me down this track, okay? And again, this is the way my mind works. It's like, wait a minute, is this guy right? Is he on to something here? So now I have to figure out if Jesus Christ was real, okay? That's where I'm at, all right? Does Jesus Christ, was he an actual person? Okay, because up until now, I'm telling you fairy tale. Okay, so I was like, all right, Jesus Christ, not real. So I start to read that, and I start to dig and dig and dig and dig. And guess what? Not only was the guy real, he was the most influential man that ever walked the face of planet Earth. Ever. So now I got a problem. Okay? Now I got to figure out if the guy was actually the Son of God. Okay? So I start looking into this. Lo and behold, there is very good evidence for this guy to be some sort of supernatural individual. Okay? You start reading the historical accounts of this guy. You start reading the guys that just gave up their life for him for, if he wasn't the Son of God, no apparent reason. Okay? These guys weren't rich. Okay? They died a completely lonely, terrible death of martyrdom, most of them. Okay? For what? So I start putting this stuff together, and I'm like, oh gosh, okay, here we go. It's Christianity, is it? Fine, I can get behind Christianity, but I will not be a Catholic. Mom and Dad's religion. I hate Catholicism. It was garbage when I was growing up, and I'm not doing it. So Baptist, here we go. Okay? So I get with Wes, and I'm like, man, I think I'm on board. Sinner's prayer. You ever meet a Baptist and they'll try to save you. Okay, they will try to save you. All right, so it's like, yep, I'm in. I want to be saved. Here we go. Let's do it. And so he gives me this book. He's like, here, start here. And it's really, I forget what I still have it, but it's like the 101 course for Baptist. Okay, and I'm reading this thing, and I'm like, I just don't even know if this sounds right. You know what I mean? Because it's like everything's Bible, 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 Bible. But how do you know that's the right translation? How do you know that's the right Bible? Like again, hyper ridiculous brain. So now I got to figure out, okay, what Bible's right? He's using the King James Bible. Is that even the right Bible? Okay, so I start going down this road. I've got boxes of Bibles in my basement. Okay, I told Tara that one back there that gets all that bent. Don't read that thing. Like that contemporary New Testament stuff. I think I don't go for that. Okay, like, get yourself a decent Ignatius Bible and call it a day. But that's what I did. Okay, so I went down these roads. Okay, then I was like, well, who put the Bible together? Okay, I started asking all these questions. All right, wait a minute. Baptists, they didn't start until later. Who was the first who was the first religion? Like, who was the first Christians? So I started asking all these questions. Lo and behold, gang, unfortunately for me, at the time, okay, I get to the point where it's like, okay, well, Christ gave his keys to St. Peter. St. Peter is the guy who started the church on earth. Okay? Mm-hmm. Where's he buried? St. Peter's Basilica. Oh, crap, that's Rome. Like, that's the Catholic Church. So I'm looking at this, and so I go back to the Bible, which I think is good, okay? It's the same Bible that I got for confirmation when I was like in the 8th grade or when I was a freshman. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, they knew this the whole time. Like, why didn't somebody tell me this? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, anyway. Like, so I've come full circle to this whole thing. Okay? It took me years. But I was like, I won't say the expletive, but I don't want to be Catholic. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the religion I want. But you know what? It's the religion that's true. Okay? And that's what I need. That's what I need as a human being to be able to get behind anything. It has to have truth. If it doesn't, I can't get behind it. To be honest with you, it's why I'm not a Baptist. Okay? Because I dug into it. I think it's phony. I really do. I'll just come right out and say it. Like, do I think that Wes is a great, great Christian man? Absolutely. Do I think that the religion he prescribes to is the one true church that's established by Jesus Christ? Absolutely not. I will not believe that. Just not happen. Okay? Why is this conversion important? Okay? It's really not for you, right? It's a story about me. Okay? But what I'm going to tell you guys, okay, what I'm going to tell you is that there are more Nick Rentzes out there 20 years ago that you know. They are in your life. Okay? They are in your life. They are around. Okay? Like, you know these people. They're people who may go to church on Sunday. They may or may not be really that big into their faith. Okay? Like, this is a slippery slope. Talk to them. Okay? Hang out with them. Let me tell you how to do this. All right? Let me tell you how to do this. Okay? Because this is what you're called to do. Okay? This is what you're called to do. In one way or another, you are called to bring people to this church. Okay? That's what Jesus Christ commands you to do. Like, he commands you to. Your church does it every time at the end of Mass. Go forth and preach the gospel. Okay? Like, every single time. This is what you're here to do. Okay? Here's how you do it. Hang out with these people. You guys are going this way. This person could be your best friend, could be a cousin. Okay? Your lives are going two different directions. Okay? Do not abandon it. Don't go, hey, I'm on a Christian path, they're on the heathen path, forget it, it's over. I'm hanging out with my Christian buddies. Okay? That's the spiritual equivalent of putting your head in the sand and saying, no, no good. Okay? Hang out with these people, guys. Hang out with them, right? Here's what else not to do. Don't go in there with a gong and be like, "Wong, time to come to Christ." Okay? Like it doesn't, like, that's how you turn them off. Okay? That's how you turn people off, right? Okay? Don't be like, "Hey man, you want to come over for a sixer and you know, rosaries and that kind of thing?" It doesn't work. Okay? It just doesn't work. Get them in with the sixer, okay, if you have to. But, like, easy on the rosary, okay? Those come over top, right? Like you have to build up to this kind of thing, okay? How do you build up to that? You evangelize by just being you. You evangelize by just being you. St. Francis used to evangelize. St. Francis of Assisi. Anybody yet been to Assisi? Cool place. Nice. You got one. Cool place. It's where St. Francis was from. You know what he used to do to evangelize? He used to take a walk in his cassock, in his robes. Okay? In his clerical. Alright, dude was rich. Super rich. Okay? He gave it all up, and he basically, like, stitched together a bunch of burlap sacks. And that's where you get, like, the brown Franciscan clerical. Okay? And they're modeled off of St. Francis's dirty old cloaks. Okay? Like, that brown is dirt. He was a dirty dude. Okay? He was always out in nature and stuff. He was just a dirty guy. But super great guy. But, like, that's what he did. Like, he walked around saying nothing. Okay? But he walked around and it was an example. You see? That's how you do it. Like, that's how you do it. That's one way. Okay? To find a Nick Rentz. Right? Here's another way. Find him before he turns into Nick Rentz. Okay? I don't know if you guys are into teaching religion at all, or have ever thought about it, or have ever thought about a way to talk to the youth of your own communities. Okay? But for 15 years I've taught religion now, for no other reason than I didn't get answers, and it dang near cost me my life. Literally. Literally. And it did cost another their life. Okay? And I'll get to that in a second. But this is something that you guys can do, okay, that will actually save lives, okay? We have a line at where I work. It's like, hey, it's in rocket science, we're not saving lives here, okay? We're making trash cans, okay? That's what we do for a living, okay? That's over at S&K. We're not saving lives, okay? We're just making trash cans. In this game, I'm about ready to tell you, you are saving lives. You're 1,000% saving lives. You may not ever see that. You may not ever see that change come to fruition. You know what I mean? Like the religion student that you taught 15 years ago, okay, may not come back to you and be like, man, you just hit it out of the park for me. Or they may come up to me and be like, dude, you were legitimately the worst religion teacher I've ever had. I don't know. But you know what I do know? I can probably answer their questions. Okay? I can probably answer, and if I couldn't, I can go get those answers. All right? Do not let people go away. Don't let them go away. You all know them. Okay? You all know them. How am I doing on time, man? Here's the last thing I'm going to leave you with, okay? Last thing I'm going to leave you with. I got caught up into the world, okay? I got caught up into everything worldly. Everything worldly. All right? And it is so easy to do right now because of this. Okay? It's really easy. I would hate to see myself with one of these, with, like, social media. Okay? Like, it's the narcissism and the constant having to, like, be reaffirmed on social media by people who aren't really even your friends is a phenomenon that I really cannot even explain how evil and twisted that stuff really is. It's all fake. I think I'm just telling you, it's fake. Right? It's all fake. It's there. You see what they want you to see. Okay? Like, it's just completely fake. All right? I can't tell you how bad that stuff really is. Give it up for a while and you'll see. Okay? Give it up for a while and you'll see. Just a month. I'm going to go a month without social media. All right? And you might have some FOMO. All right? Like you might have some fear of missing out on stuff. Okay? And that's why you might not want to give it up. Watch your life improve. 1 month. Guaranteed. Okay? Guaranteed. Here's another thing. Okay? A lot of people don't want to evangelize. A lot of people don't want to go out and bring people in or even do what I'm doing because they've got their own faults. Well, I can't do that because I drink too much. I do this. I do that. Whatever. Okay? That's the devil. Okay? That's the devil. You go take care of your sins. You confess that stuff. But I'm telling you, that you cannot lay on sin at your own sin and be like, oh, I'm too sinful. I can't go out and do anything. Spiritual lazy. Sloth. Get out of that. Okay? It's time. It's time. Right now is time. Because here's why. Here's why now is the time. People look at the news and people look at this social media stuff and they're starting to come around, gang. They're starting to look at this stuff. I just got a feeling that a lot of you are doing the same thing. You're looking at this stuff going, life cannot be this bad all the time. There's got to be something else. Like this world cannot be this bad all the time. It's impossible. Everybody goes through terrible things. We all go through terrible things. Okay? Everybody's going to go through death in their family. Part of it. Okay? Part of it. Cancer. Divorce. Terrible stuff. Like stuff that you don't want to go through, but it's going to happen. It's going to be out there. Okay? How do you respond to it? You give in? Do you let it run you over? Or do you get on your knees? At the end of the day, that's what you got to do. At the end of the day, that's what you have to do. That's what you're called to do, is to come back to Him. And let me tell you, that's the only way that you can deal with it. Otherwise, this whole thing is really depressing. Okay? Like the whole thing out there starts to be a little bit rough to deal with. Right? Kill your social media. If you guys got vices, pornography, that stuff, just kill it. Just kill it. I know, oh, that's easier said than done. Yeah. Once you do it, your life changes. Telling you. Your life will change. Why is that important? And I mean this sincerely. And I mean this sincerely. The Catholic Church, God's original church, listen to me closely. God's original church, the one that He gave the keys to St. Peter to, the original one, is the last bastion of hope in the crap cesspool that is going on around you. It is the last lone bright spot. And that's why the devil, that's why society will try to take it down. Okay? That's why it will try to take it down. You are the resistance. You are the counterculture. It used to be me in a VW bus, like on tour, selling grilled cheese and cigarettes in parking lots. That was the counterculture back in the day, okay? Being a hippie. No, that's not the counterculture anymore. You are the counterculture. That's the norm. That is happening all the time. There is nothing special about that. Nothing. You are entirely special. You have given up freely your Sunday night to come in here and hear some nut job stand in front of a cross talking to you about a conversion back to Jesus Christ. That is special. You are good. You are the counterculture. Do not forget that. Okay? It is your time to go now. Now. Okay? Not later. Now. Okay? Now is the time. People are hungry, gang. All you got to do is give it to them. Okay? You give them a little nudge, and we get more people. God wins His own. Okay? He made them all. All you got to do is reel them back. Okay? And they're all on the edge right now. The more negative news, the more hope we have. Us. Okay? That negative news is actually feeding into what we're trying to do. That's why the time is now. People are sick of it. Okay? People are sick of it. I'm sick of it. It's our time. Our time is now. Okay? I'm going to leave you with this. Okay? And it's, well, it's one that, it's one that I like because it was something, I don't know, rather personal. You can always get bogged down in the things of the world, right? It's easy to do these days. Okay? 1 John chapter 4, verse 4. You are of God and have overcome them. For he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. Okay? They are of the world. Therefore, what they say is of the world, and the world listens to them. Okay? We are of God. Whoever knows God listens to us, and he who is not of God does not listen to us. By this we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. You know the truth. It's in your conscience. It's written on your heart. It's written on your heart. You know the truth. Now go act on it. Okay? Now go act on it. All right? Stand up and pray real quick. Lord, we ask you to send down your graces on these kids. I call them kids. You guys are adults. Sorry, Lord. Please send down your graces on them. Send them forth. Send them forth to carry out your message. Bless them infinitely for being here. And we thank you, Lord, for all the blessings that you give us. We ask this through your mother. Hail Mary, full of grace. The Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Thanks for having me, you guys. If you guys, I'm happy to take any questions if you want to ask anything. Yeah.
I guess since this group is made up of college kids as well, do you have any advice that, like, I know when I went to Eastern Michigan for 2 years, I did experience what you did with professors, you know, kind of, I wouldn't say bashing, but trying to move you away from your own faith. Mm-hmm. Do you have advice for those kids who are either going this year or already in that and maybe taking classes like you did?
Okay, so the question, if you couldn't hear it in the back, the question is if you're in college, if you're going to college and you have professors that are out there bashing the faith, how do you handle that? Okay? Because a lot of times, if you stand up for your faith, you're not going to get a very good grade. Okay? Like that will straight up happen. Right? So there's 2 ways to do this. You can take the, I don't care what this guy says, I'm going to go ahead and just bludgeon him with my faith. All right? You can do that, but you better be on your A game. Okay? You better be on your A game. If you know what he's after, and you just give this doofus what he wants, you take your A and you go kneel before the Blessed Sacrament, okay? You know what's in your heart, okay? You got to do what you got to do to get out of the school, right? But, like, let's be honest. You know what you are, okay? You know what you are. So if it's a matter of you failing, okay, or if you can pick this up early, transfer out of the class. Just drop the class and pick up another one. You know what I mean? But I don't want to capitulate to these people, okay? But they are the ones in charge, okay? What we have to do is we have to give them their small victories, and we have to go win the war, okay? They want to take the battle, fine, buddy. I'll do your stupid Anton LaVey term paper, okay? Like I'll review the Satanic Bible. I'm good on that review. I thought it was philosophy, but like I still got it, you know. But I still did it, you know. But like, just when I would be careful about picking, just pick battle, very wise, okay? Don't fail out of school, okay? I would encourage you to go to a school that's maybe more aligned with your thought process to begin with, possibly, if you can. But sometimes that's, you know, sometimes you got aspirations within. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
For those of us who are teaching religion, what's to help connect with the kids who are definitely like not.
Okay, so the question is, if you're thinking about teaching religion, what's a piece of advice to connect with kids that aren't interested at all? Okay. Short answer is you're never going to get everybody. Okay. But every single human being has questions about where they come from and why they are here. So I start all my religion classes with why do you believe in God? Like, it's a really basic question. But like, why do you believe in God? Why is it? Like, do you have an answer? You know? Like that's and then I make a case. Actually, I go back to Aquinas. I simplify Aquinas. I go back down. You know what I mean? And then I build up a case. What I would strongly advise against in teaching religion is going in there and saying, okay, we've got Lives of the Saints. Read out of chapter 4 of this book. It doesn't hit. You know what I mean? You've got to connect on a personal level from the standpoint that I need to be able to connect with God in a better way. To do that for the guy who, whatever, baseball guy doesn't think about this, you have to make it relatable in the sense that he too wants to know why he's here on planet Earth. He too wants to know if there's actually a God. You know what I mean? Start there. That's a good question. Yeah, I can go on with more of that. I got my old students here. They might tell you he was no good anyway. So yeah.